Hi, and welcome to Weekly World Climate Change News. In Mongolia, the health of rangelands is in danger as about 57% of the Mongolian rangelands degraded, of which 13% have passed the threshold of recovery. The Mongolian rangelands are one of the few natural grasslands left, and losing these rangelands is a severe threat to the livelihoods of thousands of nomadic herder families in Mongolia. According to UN Environment Rangelands expert Abdelkarib Ben Sada, rangelands everywhere in the world are threatened. For a long time, rangelands have been neglected in most global environmental processes and debates, but there is now a strong impetus towards developing the knowledge that will be needed for their inclusion. In March 2019, a new resolution on rangelands and pastoralism was adopted, which calls for the restoration of rangelands on a par with the restoration of other ecosystems, such as forests, which is in line with the SDGs. Over 20 leaders committed to a new global effort on clean and efficient cooling systems and air conditioning, which can make a huge positive impact on climate change, the realization of sustainable development, and save money. The Cool Coalition, launched at the first global conference of synergies between the 2030 Agenda and Paris Agreement, aims to create a transition to clean and efficient cooling, and will inspire action by promoting collaboration, motivating others to meet the requirements under the Kigali Amendment and Paris Agreement. The Coal Coalition will complement and strengthen ongoing successful programs to advance clean and efficient cooling. In addition, the coalition will advocate for more innovation, greater investment, better information, and increased capacity to move towards clean and efficient cooling systems. According to a new report of UNICEF, more than 19 million children in Bangladesh are at risk from devastating floods, cyclones, and other environmental disasters linked to climate change. The report says that the country's flat topography, dense population, and weak infrastructure make Bangladesh prone to powerful and unpredictable forces caused by climate change. The report estimates that 12 of the 19.4 million children live in and around powerful river system in Bangladesh. Regular bursts of riverbanks cause severe floods that threaten the livelihoods of many. In addition, another 4.5 million children who live in coastal areas are regularly struck by powerful cyclones. Fortunately, a UNICEF official noted that more than 1,500 youth activists in the south of Bangladesh are increasingly involved in awareness raising of climate change and its consequences by, for example, spreading messages on disaster preparedness and rightly using water and sanitation. A European consortium will leave for Antarctica in December to drill into the continent's eastern ice sheet. It is an ambitious project and aims to pull up a frozen core of material to retrieve a continuous record of Earth's atmosphere and climate stretching back 1.5 million years. Scientists hope for an explanation for why Earth's ice ages flipped in frequency in the past and hope to find answers to the questions of how much the world is likely to warm in centuries ahead. The history of the ice might reveal new evidence and materials that help to forecast what will happen to the climate in the future. 14 institutions from 10 countries will participate in the project, which will probably take about 5 years and is expected to cost a total of 30 million euros. The Switch to Green initiative have contributed to 350,000 green jobs and leveraged more than $1.1 billion in investments with projects such as Switch Asia, Switch Africa Green, Switch Med, and EAP Green. As the fourth UN Environmental Assembly, diplomats from across the globe discussed world problems with a focus on a circular green economy as sustainable production and consumption was the theme of the Assembly. Highlights on the innovative initiatives such as the experiences, success, and lessons learned from the projects will also put forward during the Assembly. Over 86 people have been killed and thousands displaced following heavily downpour, which caused flooding in 4 countries. Places such as Afghanistan, Iraq, Iran, and Syria have experienced the disastrous effects of this natural catastrophe. These drought-prone came under heavy rain mixed with melting mountain snow and could not absorb the water. Humanitarian assistance, evacuation preparation assistance are being provided and are at high risk. The downpour is continuous and has not been predicted of ceasing any moment. The Sunderland City Council has declared a climate change emergency following a full council meeting. The climate change issue is becoming the most urgent concern for governance all around the world after the United Nations declared that humanity has just 12 years to mitigate this phenomenon. The Conservative councillor Bob Francis acknowledged that ignoring climate change could leave the world uninhabitable to higher life form from like the humans. The Council has commenced the formulation of a new impact plan for 2020-30. 180 climate scientists of Working Group 3 of the Intergovernmental Panel on Climate Change are meeting in Edinburgh to plan a future strategy to limit climate change. Their aim is to find out if it can be slowed down. The scientists will provide a government with scientific info necessary to act immediately against climate change, eventually using new technologies. The focus of the discussion will be the relationship between the greenhouse gases and our way of life. The City of London will formally launch the ultra-low emission zone ULEZ from Monday, 8th of April. The ULEZ scheme aims at checking the amount of harmful gases and particles that is allowed to be produced within the city, thereby controlling air pollution as well its consequences. The capital city of London has suffered even premature deaths as a consequence of the toxicity of air in the environment. It has also been recently found out that 5% of the lungs growing capacity of Londoners have decreased. Climate change affects our reality, and its effects have already undermined the enjoyment of some human rights, like the right to life, right to food, as well as the right to shelter and health. But it can get much worse. Climate change has already destroyed 4 civilizations in the human history. Severe droughts that cut water supplies wipe out the Mayan civilization, the Mesopotamian civilization, and the Khmer Empire of Southeast Asia, while the drop of temperature killed the Viking settlers of Greenland. These were weekly World Climate Change News. We hope you will join us next week.